Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Buzzworthy Businesses, right here in Jacksonville, brought to you by the Daily News Network and Foodies Care. And today I have with me Miss Twyla Prindle. Ms. Prindle is the owner and founder of US and Our Children, DBA Kids Cash Inc. Ms. Prindle, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Yeah. So tell us how you got started, what's your passion, and share with
Let's
us.
see. Okay. I can talk. So the short version of how I got started. When I was growing up, my dad always taught us about money. And around about 9 years old, I remember him asking, what I wanted for Christmas. I was like, I really like a savings account. And so that's when my dad really started sitting us down and teaching us about money. Well, fast forward to my college days,
Okay.
I accumulated a lot of debt, not including my student loans. So when my last year of college, I decided to just, say, forget it. I'm not paying these bills anymore, not knowing the consequences that would come from that. So long story short, when I received my first job offer after college, it was rescinded because of my credit. I was going to get a company credit card, all of that.
Oh, wow.
And because I had so many charge-offs, because I decided not to pay my bills that year. And I remember the hiring manager said, "What happened? How does your credit get so bad?" I was like, "I don't know." And so that was the start of me looking at what was wrong and how to fix it, because I knew it would be a hindrance for me going forward.
Absolutely.
And in my path to fixing my credit, it took me about 2 years to get out, like $44,000. That's not include my student loans.
Wow.
But my friends started asking me, how did I do that? Because it was a running joke in college, like, nobody's credit is worse than Twyla's. So they started asking me, how did I fix it? And I started teaching them. And then I saw, well, there were still some problems. And I realized it was because I had the foundation as a kid. So I thought to myself, well, maybe if we start teaching kids early, then even if they run into mistakes like I did, then they will still have the foundation to be able to grasp themselves and get out of the situation.
Right.
So that's how I started.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And fast forward, share with us the other side of what you do.
Yeah. So working with kids, of course, we are in the school. So we're kindergarten through 12th grade. We work with students during the school day and after school, in addition to Cash Kids. So a little bit, I'm an author too. I've written about 26 books.
Awesome.
A lot of the inspiration comes from the students. So when I see across the board that students are struggling with one particular topic, then I come up with a story. It may not always be a book. Sometimes it just may be a story I just make up on the fly. I will make up the story, maybe make it into a book, and then that's how I started getting into publishing a little bit. Fast forward, I saw a big difference when our students would see themselves in stories, and when they could see the different situations, I would say, that go on in our community. They could relate better, they would learn it better. And so that's what made me start doing more books for kids. Then it turned into the students were so engaged that they were, well, why don't you help the kids with writing? And from there, that's when we started doing writing workshops for students. I have a publishing company as well. And we started doing books for kids. So kids, they, maybe every year we have about 4 or 5 groups of kids that come out with the book, and we just make it fun for them. They take a book tour and all of that, so they can see what it's like to be an author. And it's so fun because you get to see, especially like the quiet ones, and then you see them blossom.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding because I've heard kids say things like, oh, you know what, Miss Twyla, I didn't like reading at first, but when I started writing and I started making books and I said, you know what, let me start reading, it made me read more. So it's very rewarding.
It has to be.
Yes.
Because I've never heard of anything quite like it, where you could relate to the children, motivate them, bring them out of their little shells to want to learn more. and to also want to write themselves.
Yes.
That's awesome. That would have been great when I was back in school.
Right. I hear that a lot. Like, when I was in school, I just like to have fun. So I always tell people, like, I don't want to be in a boring class,
Right.
but we have fun and we just make it as fun as possible. And
Thank
so that's
you.
why the kids enjoy it. When they see me coming, they get really excited.
Awesome.
And I like that.
Well, we thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us and sharing that with us. We appreciate your time. And Jacksonville, thanks for coming again. Be blessed.